Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Please consider subscribing and check out our Patreon for more. Enjoy the video. The sun had just begun its descent, casting a warm orange glow over the river as Earl and Maud set up camp for the night. They had chosen a secluded spot, surrounded by tall trees and the gentle rush of the river. It was the perfect place to relax and unwind. "I'll get the fire going," Maud said, unpacking the firewood and kindling from the car. "You fetch some water from the river, okay?" "Sure thing, honey." Earl rolled up his sleeves as he made his way down to the riverbank. The water sparkled invitingly, and he smiled, anticipating the refreshing dip. As he filled the water container, Earl couldn't resist the urge to splash some water on his face. The cold water invigorated him, and he laughed, feeling alive and playful. On a whim, he decided to wade in further, enjoying the sensation of the cool water against his skin. But as he ventured deeper, the current proved stronger than he expected. Earl lost his footing, stumbling backward with a startled cry. "Earl?" Maud's worried shout reached him, but it was too late. In that moment, Earl knew he wasn't going to keep his balance. With a resigned curse, he toppled backward, fully clothed, into the river. The rush of water engulfed him, the current tugging at his clothes as he spluttered for air. It wasn't deep, but it was enough to completely drench him. Flailing, he righted himself, the strong current pulling at his wet clothes as he struggled to regain his footing. Finally, he staggered out, soaked to the bone, his hair hanging in wet strands over his face. Maud rushed over, concern etched on her face. "Are you all right? That was quite a tumble." Earl coughed, sputtering out river water. "Yeah, I'm fine. Just took an unexpected bath, that's all." He gave a lopsided grin, trying to brush off the incident. Her eyes twinkled with suppressed mirth. "Well, at least you know how to make an entrance. Come on, let's get you out of those wet clothes." He glanced down at his soaked garments, suddenly feeling the chill of the evening air. "Don't worry, I have an idea." Maud's eyes sparkled with mischief. "I've got an extra set of clothes with me. They might be a little different from your usual attire, but they'll do the trick." Intrigued, Earl raised an eyebrow. "Different how?" With a playful smile, she reached into the car and pulled out a bundle of fabric. "Here, put these on. They should fit you just fine." Unfolding the bundle, Earl's eyes widened at the sight of black lace leggings and a flowing silk blouse. His heart skipped a beat as a strange, thrilling sensation washed over him. "You want me to wear these?" He ran a finger over the soft fabric, a mix of curiosity and anticipation coursing through him. "Why not?" Maud shrugged, a mischievous glint in her eye. "It's just us here. No one needs to know. Besides, they're comfortable and they'll dry faster than your usual clothes." He hesitated, a battle waging within him. On one hand, the idea intrigued him, a secret thrill he'd never explored. On the other, he felt a twinge of uncertainty about stepping outside the confines of his familiar persona. Noticing his hesitation, Maud placed a reassuring hand on his arm. "It's okay, Earl. No one's judging. We're miles from anywhere. And it's just the two of us. It'll be our little secret." He took a steadying breath, his heart pounding. "All right." The word escaped in little more than a whisper, as if saying it aloud would somehow make it more real. With trembling fingers, he removed his soaked garments and setting them aside to dry. As he slipped into the leggings, the delicate lace caressed his skin, sending shivers down his spine. The blouse, with its billowing sleeves and soft silk, felt like a caress, intriguing and exotically comfortable. "How does it feel?" Maud asked, her eyes shining with excitement. "Strange," Earl murmured, running his hands over the unfamiliar fabric. "But exciting. It's a whole new sensation." "You look amazing." Maud's voice was soft, her eyes taking in the transformation with delight. "Like a whole new person." He turned to face her, catching his reflection in the car window. The image startled him. He expected to see himself, but instead he saw her. A woman, bold and striking, with an air of mysterious confidence. "Do I really?" he whispered, his voice laced with wonder. "Absolutely." Maud stepped closer, her eyes locking with his reflection in the glass. "You're beautiful, Earl. Or should I say, Elara?" The name resonated within him, stirring something he hadn't known existed. "Elara," he repeated, testing the sound of it. It felt right, like putting on a pair of shoes that fit perfectly. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the river, Elara stood tall, a sense of freedom washing over her. She felt empowered, as if she had discovered a hidden part of herself that had always been there, waiting to be unleashed. Maud smiled, seeing the transformation before her. "Shall we? I'll get dinner started while you explore your new persona." "Yes," Elara said, her voice strong and confident. "I believe I shall." As Maud busied herself with starting the campfire and preparing their simple meal, Elara took a stroll along the riverbank, her heels sinking into the soft earth. The evening air caressed her skin, and she breathed in the scent of the nearby forest, feeling utterly alive. "This is incredible," she whispered to herself, unable to contain the joy bubbling within. Who knew such a simple change of clothes could bring forth an entirely new persona? As she wandered, her mind raced with questions and possibilities. Could she integrate this newfound aspect into her everyday life? Would people accept her as Elara, or would they reject this side of her? These unanswered questions both thrilled and terrified her. Returning to the campsite, Elara found Maud roasting marshmallows over the crackling fire, the sweet scent of melted chocolate filling the air. "There you are," Maud said, a smile in her voice. "I was beginning to think you'd decided to become one with nature permanently." Elara laughed, a light, musical sound that surprised even herself. The temptation was certainly there, but I couldn't resist these marshmallows. They're calling to me. Joining Maud by the fire, she accepted a stick with a marshmallow impaled on its end, holding it over the flames. "It's been a while since we've gone camping, hasn't it? I'd forgotten how relaxing it is to be surrounded by nature." Maud hummed in agreement, her eyes sparkling in the firelight. "It's been too long. We should do this more often. Escape the hustle and bustle, reconnect with nature and each other." As they roasted their marshmallows, the conversation flowed freely. They spoke of their dreams, their hopes for the future, and the adventures they longed to have. It was as if, in donning these new clothes, Elara had also shed the inhibitions that had kept her from fully embracing life. "You know," Elara said, her eyes sparkling with mischief, "I think I might like to try on more of your clothes when we get back home. See if there are other hidden personas lurking within." Maud's eyes lit up at the suggestion. "I'd be delighted to share my wardrobe with you. In fact, we could make a date of it, a fashion show just for us." Elara's heart fluttered at the idea. "A fashion show?" "Yes, let's do that. I can't wait to explore this side of myself further." With contented sighs, they fell silent, savoring the warmth of the fire and the satisfaction of a day well spent. Overhead, the stars twinkled, reflecting on the quiet river, creating a scene of serene beauty. "This has been a wonderful day," Elara said softly, her eyes taking in the beauty around them. "One I shall cherish forever." Maud smiled, her eyes shining with love and understanding. "As will I. It's not every day that someone discovers a new side of themselves. I'm honored to be a part of it." "Thank you," Elara whispered, reaching for her hand, "for understanding, for encouraging me to embrace this. I feel liberated." Their hands entwined, they sat in comfortable silence, the fire crackling and the river murmuring in agreement. The next morning, Elara rose early, the sun's rays just beginning to filter through the trees. She breathed in the fresh morning air, feeling refreshed and energized. Maud stirred, opening one eye sleepily. "Morning already? Or should I say good morning, Elara?" Elara smiled, feeling a warmth spread through her at the sound of the name. "Good morning, beautiful. Did you sleep well?" "Like a log," Maud yawned, stretching her arms above her head. "I could get used to this camping life, waking up to the sounds of nature, and you, of course." Elara blushed, a pleasant warmth spreading across her cheeks. I could say the same. It's been far too long since we escaped the city like this. As they broke camp and packed their gear, Alara felt a sense of reluctance to leave. This place had witnessed her transformation, and she felt a connection to it, like a secret sanctuary where she could be her true self. "We'll come back," Maud promised, noticing her hesitation. "In fact, we could make this our regular spot. A place to escape, just the two of us, where you can be Alara without any worries." Alara's heart leaped at the suggestion. "I'd like that," she said softly, taking Maud's hand. Having this place to retreat to would be wonderful. With the car packed and their camping gear stowed away, they bid farewell to the river and began the drive back to the city. As they traveled, Alara found herself reflecting on the events of the past day. "You're quiet," Maud observed, reaching over to squeeze her hand. "Penny for your thoughts?" Alara smiled, feeling grateful for Maud's understanding. "I was just thinking about how much this trip has meant to me. How much it's changed me." "It has, hasn't it?" Maud's voice was soft, filled with a mixture of curiosity and support. "You seem more relaxed, more like yourself, if that makes sense." "It does," Alara nodded, her eyes sparkling with emotion. "For the first time, I feel like I'm truly being me, or a part of me that's always been there, hidden beneath the surface." Maud's smile was warm and understanding. "I'm glad you're embracing it, and I'm here for you every step of the way, whatever you need, Alara." A wave of gratitude washed over Alara. "Thank you," she whispered, squeezing Maud's hand. "Knowing you're by my side gives me the courage to keep exploring this side of myself." As they neared the city, the landscape changed from lush forests to sprawling suburbs. Alara felt a mixture of excitement and apprehension as they drew closer to civilization. "It's almost like stepping back into a different world," she mused, her eyes taking in the familiar sights. "I feel like I've been on an extraordinary journey, and now I'm returning with a secret identity." Maud laughed, a light, joyful sound. "A secret identity, huh? Well, every superhero needs one. And you, my dear, are most definitely a superhero in my book." A warm glow spread through Alara at her words. "And you, my dear, are my trusted sidekick. Ready to accompany me on this daring adventure?" "Always," Maud said firmly, her eyes sparkling with determination. "Wherever this journey takes us, we'll face it together." The city loomed larger as they drew closer, the familiar streets and buildings coming into view. Alara felt a flutter of nervousness in her stomach. This was the true test, returning to their everyday lives, but with this newfound aspect of her persona. "You okay?" Maud asked, her voice gentle, noticing the change in Alara's demeanor. Alara took a steadying breath. "I was just thinking about how we'll navigate this back in the real world. It's one thing to be Alara out here in nature, but quite another to integrate this side of me into our daily lives." Maud's expression softened with understanding. "We'll take it one step at a time, okay? Baby steps. We don't have to rush into anything. We'll let Alara unfold at a pace that feels comfortable for you." Her heart swelled with gratitude for Maud's unwavering support. "Baby steps," she repeated, nodding. "That sounds like a plan." As they pulled into the driveway of their home, Alara felt a mix of emotions. Excitement, nervousness, and anticipation swirled within her. This was it, the first step in introducing Alara to the world beyond the river. "Welcome home, Alara," Maud said with a smile, opening her car door. "Shall we?" Alara took a deep breath, steeling herself. "Yes, let's do this." Stepping out of the car, she paused, soaking in the familiar surroundings with fresh eyes. The neighborhood was quiet, the evening sun casting long shadows across the front yard. "You ready to face the world?" Maud asked, her eyes shining with encouragement. Alara took Maud's hand, feeling stronger with her support. "With you by my side, I am. Let's go introduce Alara to the neighborhood." Hand in hand, they strolled down the street, a sense of anticipation building. Alara felt the eyes of their neighbors on them, curious about their return from the camping trip. "Evening, Mr. Johnson," Maud called out to their elderly neighbor, who was tending to his rose garden. The elderly man straightened, a friendly smile spreading across his face. "Ah, Maud, back from your adventures? And who might this lovely young lady be?" Alara felt a flutter of nerves as she offered a slight wave. "Good evening, Mr. Johnson. I'm Alara, a friend of Maud's." "Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Alara." Mr. Johnson's eyes twinkled with kindness. "Any friend of Maud's is a friend of mine." As they continued their walk, Alara felt a sense of relief and acceptance wash over her. The neighbors they encountered greeted Alara warmly, curious about this new friend of Maud's, but welcoming all the same. "I'm so glad we did this," she whispered to Maud as they turned back toward their home. "I feel like a weight has been lifted." Maud squeezed her hand. "Me too. It's a wonderful feeling when people accept you for who you are. And they do, Alara. They truly do." Over the next few weeks, Alara settled into her new identity with surprising ease. She embraced the wardrobe options that Maud happily shared, experimenting with different styles and looks. Some days she'd don a sleek pencil skirt and a silk blouse, exuding an air of sophistication. Other days she'd opt for a flowy dress and sandals, embodying a bohemian vibe. Each outfit brought forth a different facet of her personality, and she relished the freedom to explore. "You've really taken to this, haven't you?" Maud observed one evening as they prepared dinner together. Alara was wearing a soft purple sweater and skinny jeans, a playful silver pendant dangling at her throat. A smile curved Alara's lips as she stirred the pasta sauce. "I have, haven't I? It's like discovering a whole new world of expression. It's liberating." Maud slipped her arms around Alara's waist, resting her chin on her shoulder. "I'm so glad you're embracing it, and you look absolutely stunning no matter what you wear." A warm glow spread through Alara at Maud's words. "Thank you, my dear. That means the world to me." As the days blended into weeks, Alara's confidence grew. "Shall we go out tonight?" Maud suggested one Friday evening as they sat on the couch, glasses of wine in hand. "Perhaps a nice dinner and a movie? It's been a while since we had a proper date night." Alara's heart skipped a beat at the suggestion. She set her wine glass down, her fingers tracing the delicate stem. "A date night sounds lovely. It'll be our first outing as us." Maud's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Yes, it will. Are you nervous?" "A bit," Alara admitted, her voice steady despite the butterflies in her stomach, but in a good way. "I feel like we're embarking on a new adventure together, and I can't wait to see where it takes us." Maud leaned over and pressed a soft kiss to her cheek. "Then let the adventure begin. We'll start with a romantic dinner at that new French restaurant downtown, followed by a movie. Just the two of us, enjoying a night on the town." Alara's pulse quickened at the prospect. "It sounds perfect! I can't wait to see the looks on people's faces when they realize we're a couple. It's like we're declaring our love all over again, but this time it's different." "It is," Maud agreed, her eyes shining with love and pride. "It's a statement, a declaration of who we are and who we love, and I, for one, can't wait to show you off, my dear Alara." That evening, as they dressed for their date, Alara felt a sense of anticipation and joy. She chose a form-fitting black dress that accentuated her curves, pairing it with a string of pearls and sleek black heels. Maud, ever the fashionista, opted for a tailored pantsuit, her dark hair falling in loose waves around her shoulders. "You look stunning," Maud whispered as they stood in front of the full-length mirror, taking in their reflections. "Absolutely breathtaking." Alara's heart swelled with happiness. "As do you, my love. We're going to turn heads tonight, that's for sure." Arm in arm, they walked to the restaurant, their hearts light and their steps full of purpose. The warm summer breeze played with their hair, and the city lights twinkled in the distance, creating a magical atmosphere. "I feel like we're in a movie," Alara murmured as they strolled, their fingers intertwined. This is one of those moments where everything feels perfect, and you just know it's a memory you'll cherish forever. I know exactly what you mean, Maud replied, squeezing her hand. It's like the world is conspiring to give us a perfect night, a night where we can just be ourselves and celebrate our love. The restaurant buzzed with conversation and the clinking of glasses as they entered, the scents of garlic and freshly baked bread filling the air. A few heads turned as they walked in, and Alara felt a moment of nervousness. But then she saw the smiles on people's faces, the welcoming glances, and her worries melted away. "Right this way, ladies," the hostess said, leading them to a cozy table for two in the corner. "Your server will be with you shortly." As they settled into their chairs, Alara felt a sense of peace and contentment wash over her. This was right. This was how it was supposed to be. She glanced at Maud, who was studying the menu, a soft smile playing on her lips, and her heart swelled with love. "This looks wonderful," Maud said, setting down the menu. "I think I'll start with the escargot, and then for my main course, the coq au vin." "Excellent choices," Alara said, her eyes dancing with delight. "I think I'll have the onion soup to start, followed by the salmon en croûte, and of course a glass of their finest champagne to celebrate." Maud's eyes lit up at the mention of champagne. "A celebration is most definitely in order, to us and to many more adventures as wives and partners in crime." They clinked their champagne flutes, their eyes locking, and for a moment the bustling restaurant faded away, and it was just the two of them, lost in their own little world. Dinner was a delight, with each course surpassing the last. They savored every bite, discussing the complex flavors and relishing the atmosphere. As they indulged in the decadent desserts, their conversation turned reflective. "I can't remember the last time I felt this content," Maud confessed, her eyes soft as she played with the stem of her wine glass. "It's as if a weight has been lifted and I can finally breathe." Alara reached across the table and took her hand. "I know exactly what you mean. It's like we've unlocked a secret door to happiness, and now we get to explore this wonderful new world together." "Indeed," Maud agreed, her voice thick with emotion. "It hasn't been an easy journey, but my goodness, it's been worth it. Every step, every challenge has led us to this moment." "To us," Alara said softly, raising her glass in a silent toast. "And to a future filled with love, happiness, and endless adventures." Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out Patreon for a lot more content and early access to YouTube videos.